Thanks very much for staying with Afternoon Express. Now, we know that, we know what a vegan is, and we know that serving you the right type of things for a vegan is important. That's why we're serving you that flavorful Spanish paella. Ole! That's what I say. It's packed with fresh vegetables, and it's made in less than 1 hour, which is the thing for me. Rati, you know all about this as a vegan advocate, right?
Yes.
And Jay, you're showing us how to make it.
Exactly, and I love dishes like this, Dubs, because vegetables cook in a small amount of time, so it's a great alternative meal option for you during the week. So even if you subscribe to veganism, great, but if not, also a great way to just add, quick and easy meals during the week. So I'm going to get started on the paella. Rati, I can ask you to please chop up some mushrooms.
Of course I will.
It's actually my worst thing to do in the kitchen.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
so glad that you are. So
Just mushrooms, or in general?
Just chopping mushrooms is just the
general.
pits. So if you could just do a couple of those for me, we're going to add that in. I've got some oil, some garlic, onions, tomatoes chopped very cutely in our pan over here. High heat tubs, and we're also using a cast iron pan, which is great for paella because when you're making a paella, you sort of, the main thing is to get that iconic sokarat. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it's sort of that crust that develops at the bottom of the pan, which is just unctuous.
Rati, I mean, you're a vegan advocate. Let's start here. The difference between a vegan and a vegetarian, for those who don't know.
Yes, well, with vegetarianism, people can still have dairy and eggs, but veganism, you can't consume anything from animals. Not a single thing.
And I hear ethical vegan. Let's talk about that space.
Well, ethical veganism for me, and my personal opinion, is that my entire lifestyle basically revolves around it. So from my makeup to my hair products to my skin products, every single thing, I mean, to leather, you name it.
Isn't it amazing how all of those things have now become available, right?
I know, especially, 2022, there's so many, 2023, goodness. There's so many options and there's so many alternatives, and I think it's such a beautiful thing. So it's more accessible to anybody if you're vegan or not.
And vegetables are also more accessible too. They always have been.
Exactly.
On that note, Rati, if I can ask you to just pass over those mushrooms. I love mushrooms. They are sort of the meat of the earth.
Oh, like that umami flavor. How delicious.
Exactly. And as that develops and caramelizes, so awesome, and that's why we've got quite a high heat on our paella pan over here. Okay, a couple of spices. Now, you could use saffron, very expensive and sometimes not very accessible. So we're going in with smoked paprika,
which is easy to find.
Great alternative. And then a little bit of turmeric, also bringing in that color that we need. And I think that's the important part about these sort of dishes is you sort of play on the eye, you make it bright, you make it colorful, and that's the key here. So we're going to saute those a little bit, Tabs, and then we're going to go in with our rice.
Look at it go.
Now we're using jasmine rice today. You could get arborio rice or the proper paella rice, but what I like to do with my jasmine rice, soak it, rinse it very well until the water's clear. That gets rid of all the starch that's in there. So you just want to sort of toss those in the flavors, right? Now, this is the important part. You don't want to touch this any further, right?
All right.
We're going to add a little bit of stock. Okay, now add this in batches because if you add it all at once, the rice is going to overcook. So when you're following a paella recipe, just reel it in and keep checking it with a little fork. So don't move it around because remember, we want that sokarat, which is that
yes.
part.